Oh yeah, welcome to the podcast, guys. Thanks for clicking. My name's Ryan Naft, and today I wanted to do a fairly short episode about the musical journey of the history of the world, the musical journey of myself, and maybe how that could translate to yourself, or how my musical journey can translate to that of other successful musicians. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start going all the way back to like the Stone Ages. They were banging on rocks and caves, making percussion sounds. The very first instrument ever made was an ivory tusk, just pretty much fashioned in the shape of a flute. So yeah, everyone had a job back then. Everyone was hunters and gatherers. They, picked berries off of the floor, hunted mammoths and all that good stuff. One day someone just decided, this is really fun to just sit here and play on my little ivory flute, or to just make beats on my cave. But, that's not I'm sure a lot of the other cavemen or prehistoric humans who were trying to actually get sustenance, they're all like, oh, this isn't a very productive way of spending your time. But the musician, the flute player, the people banging on the walls, they're all like, no, this is what we love to do. It's entertainment. And I'm sure a lot of other cavemen were all like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is music. This is like, it's a vibe. So ever since the prehistoric days, music has sort of been a way of saying, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to make my living, or I'm going to do whatever I want, whether or not other people think it's a practical use of my time. So like the jesters and the courts, they became musicians, they played for kings, they did whatever. Okay, some of them may have not done exactly what they wanted, but for the most part, all musicians did whatever they wanted. They were playing their lutes, they were just going around playing music in the medieval courtyards for the serfs and the peons, and they were just doing whatever they wanted while everyone else was doing their menial jobs. And it's always good to have a menial job as a musician. Like right now, I'm working at an electronics store, but I'm always going to keep making my music. That's also why I'm probably going to keep doing this audio technology program, but I'll get back into that in a little bit. So, yeah, from the Stone Ages to the Renaissance to Beethoven more recently. Even Beethoven was a crazy rock star back in his age. An asshole more or less, but he was pretty much just doing whatever he wanted. Everyone loved his stuff. He sort of had this radio antenna that was built into his head that he translated into the real world by playing his piano and writing on that notation, and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, every musician in the history of ever has just been all like, fuck you society, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I don't know if I said F you society enough times in this video, but it's gonna be all right. So since Beethoven, there's been an explosion of genres, especially as the world keeps growing faster and faster, even today. So we got country, we got jazz, we got rock. Country itself let's go over one of these at a time. So country, a lot of country artists were very, I don't want to call it a cliche, I guess it's kind of more like a commonality that a lot of country musicians grew up struggling a lot. Well, a lot of musicians, that's sort of like the commonality. A lot of musicians grew up struggling, and then they were just all like, all right, I'm going to do whatever I want now. And if no one likes it, no one likes it, but I'm just going to keep doing it because I have nothing else to lose. So a lot of country artists, they just kind of did it. Country music is a very difficult genre to play. That's why I have a lot of respect for them. And I understand some people don't like country. It's not what their ears enjoy, and that's understandable. But as a guitar player, I think country is very complex and difficult, but yet fun and satisfying to play. So that's why country has a place in my heart. Jazz musicians, just like country musicians, they just did whatever they want. There's jazz chords, there's blues scales that a lot of people use, but for the most part, jazz is just improvisation, playing whatever notes you want in the context of whatever you want to get out the emotion that you feel. Then these genres, I believe, sort of, well, and blues as well. Blues is really emotional. but all these genres sort of pushed into the rock category, and rock, of course, being my favorite genre. It's always been about fuck you. Me and four other people are gonna go start a band, and we're gonna pretty much say goodbye to the normal society that everyone's been trained to, supposed to be a part of. So out of that, we got bands like the Beatles, we got Kiss, we got, well, I could keep going, Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath. And yeah, especially around this time is when we learn more about the dynamics of like rooms and how to record more efficiently. We got more technology out of it. And as a result, we've been getting metal music, which I personally love. It's the ultimate fuck you to society. It's the ultimate, most people aren't going to want to listen to this, but we're going to play it anyway. So that goes back all the way back. Metal music, pretty much we could say it predates human existence, just because of the whole nature of saying, no, we're going to do whatever we want. And a lot of people end up loving it, and that's how you get bands like Iron Maiden or Black Sabbath, or you get the gist. So yeah, and after that, especially recently within these past couple of decades, rap has been blowing up, especially because technology is a lot more accessible. People are able to make beats. Everyone's able to just find a beat on YouTube and rap over it, and as a result, everyone wants to be a rapper. So I believe that this conversation will be able to help other people who want to be rappers, other people who want to be guitarists, musicians, drummers, pianists, you know, the whole shebang. We also got techno out of that. That's just, again, people doing whatever they want, just sitting behind their computers making. I mean, it's very impressive, but techno is more like the artificial thing, and it's sort of becoming bigger than just because it's computers can make it. Essentially, it's like I made a couple of techno songs, some video game sounding songs on my Soundcloud, and it was fun to make. Again, it was just me saying, all right, well, everyone's into rap, everyone's into, a lot of other people are into rock, so you know what, I'm bored, I'm just gonna make some techno music. It's always been about, I'll do whatever I want, and that's pretty much the whole theme of this video, just do whatever you want. So yeah, a little bit about me. As I've said in a couple of other episodes, I wanted to be a rock star when I was a little kid. I grew up out of that, unfortunately. It would have been sick if I was able to just be on a stage right now, but you know, I guess I'm here for a reason, sort of spread my message. I became a rapper trying to fit in with everyone else. I still enjoy rapping every once in a while. I have a couple of raps down in my SoundCloud, a couple of them old when I was, especially in my rap phase. I have an EP that I dropped, and then I have a couple of songs that I dropped not too long ago. But regardless, rapping is not my main thing. It's just something fun I like to do. It's just something that's in my soul. Again, I have this radio antenna in my head that just picks up the lyrics, and then I sort of translate them into a physical form. And yeah, I just had to record those raps because sometimes I was feeling inspired. I had to get it down. So I think writing down, especially on a physical form, is very helpful for artists. But regardless, yeah, then I moved, and I sort of lost my passion for rapping, and I gained a passion for playing guitar, playing bass, for programming, like music in Ableton and Pro Tools. I started going to music I started going to college for audio design at my local community college. And honestly, I've always been very unsure about whether it's the smart decision, but at the end of the day, there's a community college right there that'll give me an associate's to learn how to use recording consoles and all this. So I figured, why not just finish it? And because what society wants me to do, society wants me to just go be a tech guy, be a doctor or something. But again, music's always been about, I'm gonna do whatever I want, so I'm gonna go do that. Yeah, so that's where I'm kind of at. I'm just gonna keep going, become an audio producer, help my friends become musicians, help myself continue to become a musician. I want to make music for video games and film and stuff, and just make my own sort of albums and stuff like that. I've always made music since I was a little kid, and I'm going to continue no matter what anyone says. That's also what this podcast is a little bit, because, you know, audio, I almost live off of audio. So this podcast is also a little bit of a way to help me sort of understand the way my voice works, to sort of understand the way my mind works. When I listen to these podcasts back, I realize I'm not listening to my voice, I'm listening to the room. So I'm actually listening to this fan behind me. Excuse me if that's causing a little bit of a high end in the back. So anyway, yeah, that's the main points I wanted to get over. Just music since the beginning of time, since caveman era, has been about fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's again the theme of this video, and that's why quote unquote bad music is always, I guess, derivative or unoriginal. One of my favorite rappers today is, well, not really today, but rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD was one of my favorite rappers. He actually got me more into the rock scene, just because I know he used to listen to all that growing up. And because there was nothing ever that sounded like him. He was just like, screw everyone else, I'm gonna just make whatever music comes out of my head, and I really respect that. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going for audio technology, keep doing what I'm passionate about, keep making the podcast. I'm gonna keep learning every day, and that's what I push everyone else to do. Just keep doing what you're passionate in, and keep learning everything that you can every single day. So yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about the audio program I'm doing and what I've been learning. Equalizer, compression, reverb, and delay. Those are the four horsemen of audio production. Equalizer is the low end versus the high end. It's sort of the balance. So generally my voice has a lot of low end into it, but it also has a lot of middle. A lot of people speak within the middle range because that's the best range for people to hear. It's sort of like light, you know, humans can see a certain range of light, and then there's lower and then there's higher that we aren't really able to process as well. But so equalization is something I've been learning a lot about, and how that's able to translate into good music. Compression is sort of compressing the volume of a song so that it all is together, and so that there's nothing that sounds too loud compared to other things in the mix. Reverb is the way that the room sounds. So even this podcast probably has weird reverb because I'm just recording in my room. You know, it's the stoner room with posters on the walls and guitars, and I'm not even in the center of the room. So the way that the sound reverberates from my voice around the room into the microphone of the phone probably is a little unorthodox, and this podcast probably, I'll bring attention to it just because I'm aware of it. It probably doesn't sound the most professional podcast in the world, but I just want to be aware of it because, you know, I'm a sound guy, and eventually, hopefully one day, when I'm making greater podcasts, when I'm, you know, doing things a lot more, I guess when I'm doing things a lot more professionally, then, you know, then I'll be able to look back on this video and be all like, you know what, I was doing all right. But yeah, so reverb is the way that the sound bounces around the room. Again, my room doesn't have the best reverb, but also doesn't have the worst. So, and then delay is pretty self-explanatory. It's the echo behind a voice, the echo. And yeah, those are the four main points of sound. And especially as we've been progressing in society, we've been learning more and more about all these fundamentals of sound, and we've been able to utilize them. And you know, the great thing about music is there's always these sort of presets, there's these rules of thumb that makes your mix sound good. But the thing is, music has always been about, I'm going to do whatever I want, I'm going to do whatever sounds good to me. And that's the beautiful thing, that anyone could just hop in and do whatever they want. So that's why I think I'm just going to finish this music technology program. You guys are going to be with me throughout the ride. We'll make some music together. You know, I have a lot of Ableton stuff. I have some raps. I have some guitar stuff I have going on. I have a few tutorials, guitar tutorials I recorded. I made one of MF Doom's Rap Snitch Ganishes, but I haven't uploaded it yet because I'm not fully satisfied. I'm gonna be doing a lot of guitar tutorials, covers, things like that. So you guys are gonna be with me on the ride on this audio technology journey. And yeah, so that should about do it for this video. I just wanted to make it short, talk about my passion a little bit. Oh yeah, that's another thing that makes good music from bad music: passion. A lot of people just make derivative music to make a quick buck, especially things that are popular within the day. That's why a lot of rock music sounds very derivative of each other, but then that goes for every genre. Even today, some people might get mad at me for this, but a lot of quote unquote trap music and a lot of the stuff, a lot of pop also, all sounds very derivative of each other. It's almost formulaic, and you know, that's always going to be a thing. That's all right. There's nothing you can really do about it. All I know is that passion sort of drives humanity, and it drives music, and it drives me, and it drives the history of music's the same as the history of the world. So just stay passionate in what you're doing, and don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks, and just keep learning every day. And that's all I really wanted to share in this video. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great one.